Hello and welcome to the Flag on the Play podcast, the podcast where we talk everything British American football. In this episode we'll go over the NFL London games, some rules of the sport, and a little bit about Solent University's teams, the Red Hawks. Let's start with the rules of American football. Each team has three groups of players: offense, defense, and special teams. Let's start with the offense. The players on the offense are the offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. The goal of the offense is to get the ball up the field into the opposition's end zone to get a touchdown, which is worth 6 points. They can do this through the air, with the quarterback throwing to the wide receivers, or on the ground where the quarterback passes the ball off to the running back and they run through the opposition's defense. They have 4 attempts called downs to progress the ball up the field 10 yards. If they fail to do this, they can either punt or pass the ball over to the other team where they failed. If they get that 10 yards in the 4 plays, they reset the downs and can go again with another 4 set of downs. Now for the defense. Their job is to stop the offense from getting the 10 yards to progress in downs. They do this with these positions: defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs. The defensive line can sack the quarterback, which is a tackle behind where the ball started, with the ball still in the quarterback's hands. The defensive line are also the first line of defense against the run, but they do have the linebackers behind them, which can do both stop passes and runs. The final position is defensive backs. Their main job is to stop the passes by either catching it before the wide receiver does or batting it down to the ground to stop the pass and make it incomplete. That was a very basic description of how the game works, and there are a lot more rules with penalties to describe and everything, but that's a very long subject, so that will have to be its own episode, which I will do in the near future. Let's move on to the NFL London games, and this year 3 games took place from weeks 5 to 7 of the NFL season. 2 of the 3 games were played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, those games being the Minnesota Vikings versus the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. The final of the 3 London games this year was the LA Rams versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that took place in Wembley Stadium. From a blowout to games being decided in the final 2 minutes of play, this year's London games had plenty of actions to entertain UK NFL fans. Let's talk about the Week 5 matchup, which was the Cleveland Browns versus the Minnesota Vikings, and this game ended with a score of 17-21 to the Minnesota Vikings, with the deciding score being a touchdown pass from Carson Wentz to Jordan Addison in the last 20 seconds of the game.
Step up, make one of these game-changing plays.
Wentz, 2nd and 5. Addison, he's got it! Touchdown!
This result moved the Cleveland Browns record to 4-1 and the Minnesota Vikings record to 3-2 on the season. Despite the loss, Dylan Gabriel, the new starter for the Cleveland Browns, had a good start in his first game. His stats were 19 of 33 successful pass attempts, 190 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, which is a decent run-through for a first start. The Week 6 game was also a close one between the New York Jets and Denver Broncos. This game was also decided with the final score, but this time it was a field goal, followed by a defensive masterclass by the Denver Broncos, sacking Justin Fields twice to keep them from getting into field goal range and tying the game and sending it into overtime.
Minute 14 to go. This is essentially the game as the Jets are out of timeouts. Fields avoids the sack until he can't. Jonathan Cooper, the first in.
As you can hear from that clip, the Denver Bronco fans in London loved that moment. The third London game this year was the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Los Angeles Rams. In this game, the Los Angeles Rams showed their dominance by keeping the Jacksonville Jaguars out of the end zone until the 4th quarter, where they only scored 1 touchdown by rookie sensation Travis Hunter.
All right. Looking for Hunter. Flag down. Touchdown. Travis Hunter.
That would be Hunter's only touchdown of the season, as now he is out with injuries. This game was much more successful for the Los Angeles Rams and their quarterback Matthew Stafford, who had 5 touchdowns in this game with 182 passing yards. With the Jaguars' defense struggling against the offense of the Rams, Matthew Stafford had a field day of passing to all the receivers on his team. But by far the one who benefited the most was Devontae Adams, their future Hall of Fame wide receiver with 3 touchdown catches.
Touchdown, Rams!
I talked to Billy Roberts about his experiences around American football. He's the photographer for the Solent Redhawks American football team. Now that you've been the photographer for the Solent Redhawks for a couple of weeks, what's your knowledge and understanding of American football?
Okay, well, as you know, I obviously am not very familiar with American football up until now. But I must say, through my experience, I've been being the photographer for you all, which might I add, very lovely experience, by the way. I've gotten to see your training. I've been seeing you guys doing jumping over bars, seeing you tackle each other, doing general running exercises. I would not say that I am knowledgeable by any means on the sport. However, I think it is fair to say that my understanding has certainly been developed. You play defender, do you not?
Yes. Yeah, I do play defender.
Yeah, I have seen you go through some hell of beatings in your sentence. Very, very aggressive sport. I could almost... It's so barbaric, I could almost see the enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I definitely hurt the next day.
You hurt every day from it. I every time I see you, you're like, oh god, my back, my shoulders, my whatever the hell.
Everything hurts all the time. Ow!
Yeah.
My quad's been injured for weeks, for fuck's sake.
Oh god, a new one with him. Here we go.
No, that has been injured.
That has been. I'm sorry, I lost count, man.
That's been the problem. Yeah, it hurts, but it's fine. I got hit in the balls yesterday. That wasn't Now, let's have a listen to some of the sounds of American football, from the hits to the fans cheering to the commentators' reactions to everything that goes down on the field.
Pell's in, 1st and 10. Welcomes up Polamalu. And Ep1 was drilled. Oh my goodness. Harrison at the mid.
Down to 10. Oh, what a hit. Look out. Graham Schmidt. My goodness. That was vicious.
Arizona's abandoned the run. It's been no huddle and throw, and what a hit across the middle by Deshaun Cole.
This was the type of thing you could expect to hear when watching the NFL every Sunday during the season. Now, let's have a listen to some game footage from the Solent Redhawks American football team, which I play for. Thank you to Nate Benton Cox for recording this footage and audio. That clip was the Solent Redhawks getting fired up for their home game against the Royal Holloway Bears that took place on November 9th of this year. What you just heard there was a breakdown after a drive. The offense and defense do this, but that one was for the defense. You do this after a drive to motivate the team and go over what went well or what could have gone better after you've just left the field.
So I go to bed full line. In it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, your blood, but we ain't kin. You think you're jumping, man, you best think again. Look dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Had some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge. Take the door off your bands, pop up my phone with your friends.
Thank you for listening to the debut episode of Flag on the Play. In the next episode, we'll cover the Solent Redhawks in more detail. This is the Southampton Solent American football team. Thanks again for listening, and tune in next time.